All right, so great. Just a huge hello to everybody who's joined us. We're up to 57 participants now, and I know we had 100 and I think 179 registrants. And so we know that there's a lot of interest in this grant stream, which is wonderful. So just welcome to this webinar for the Nourish to Flourish grant stream. My name is Carolyn Webb. I am pleased to be joining you today from the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe here in Ottawa. Joining you with Lauren and Aaron from Farm Boy, and also my colleague Heather at Sustain Ontario may or may not be on the call, but she'll be joining soon if she's not here. So, un mot pour nos francophones. Nous sommes désolés, mais notre webinaire se déroulera en anglais, mais vous pouvez poser vos questions en français à tout moment si vous voulez, soit par lever la main ou mettre votre question dans la boîte de chat. So as you see, we've recorded the recording, and as I said, we'll be sharing it out afterwards. Thanks. So I'll just pull this in front of me. And if you have a question at any time, you're welcome to either ask it if it's relevant to the slides that we've just covered. You can put up your hand or put it in the chat, and we'll also answer all of the questions at a dedicated Q&A time. So just a quick hello and introduction to Sustain Ontario. So we're a province-wide cross-sectoral alliance that promotes healthy food and farming. And I coordinate what's called the Ontario Edible Education Network, which is an initiative set up to bring groups together who are connecting children and youth with healthy food systems. And so Sustain's just had a longstanding effort to support school food and just children and youth connecting with their food system and that. So today we'll discuss the Nourish to Flourish grant. We've given some introductions. Next, we'll talk about the Nourish to Flourish grants. We'll review the application process and tips for proposals, touch on some additional resources, and then have an open Q&A. But first, I'll just start about the partnership. So the partnership came together, I guess, about 2 years ago, and we formed this grant stream, and so that's made up of Sustain Ontario. And our role is to support some of the partnerships and outreach, supporting the selection process, providing support to grant recipients. And so Heather, my colleague, will be touching base with all the grant recipients once folks have been selected to bring people together and do some connection opportunities and even some learning opportunities if people want them. Farm Boy has provided investment and support selection, and Aaron will speak, I think on the next slide, about Farm Boy and their commitment to this work. And then Farm to Cafeteria Canada is the national partner that is doing a lot of the behind the scenes work. And so managing applications, administering the grants, and coordinating the impact, reporting, and collection. And then just the last slide before Aaron, I just wanted to highlight the farm to school approach or the local food to school, seed to school approach, just knowing that food gets to the schools in a whole lot of different ways. And all of these partners have a deep commitment to kind of this broad food system approach to learning and food in schools. And so the idea is just that we have all these different pillars of how students connect to food and to community through food. And that looks like healthy local food in schools in a variety of ways, whether buying it from local markets or local stores, vendors, whatever that might look like, as well as connecting to the community through that, and hands-on learning opportunities to really get to know food and foodways and be a part of that. So next I will, over to you, Aaron.
Thanks, Carolyn. Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron Wade. I am the Manager of Public Relations and Community Investment here at Farm Boy. And I'm very happy to be speaking with all of you today and seeing that there are 75 people here. That's amazing interest in this program. As Carolyn said, we started working on this about 2 years ago, and it came to life last year, and we're very proud of this program. But before I jump in and talk about what this program is and why Farm Boy created it, I wanted to let you know a little bit about who we are in case you haven't had an opportunity to shop one of our stores. So about 45 years-ish ago.
So we're hoping we
A
can apply for this grant to get some money for Catherine for the green industries.
All right, about 45 years ago, the we started off as a small 300 square foot uh, produce stand in Cornwall, Ontario, and basically our founder JL and his wife Colette basically would wake up every morning, drive down to Montreal, and they would pick up some fresh produce and bring it back and sell that produce to their community because they believed that their community deserved that fresh, local, high quality produce at excellent value. That is one of the great pillars that has stood by in Farm Boy since our founding. We've also continued to stand up for high quality unparalleled customer service, a warm and welcoming shopping environment, and as Carolyn said, that local market feel. That was how we were founded, and that's what we continue to try and maintain today. Carolyn, if you can switch to the next slide, that would be great. One of our, really solidified parts of our value proposition, though, is our connections to our community. We were founded in a small town. We continue to maintain that small town values, and we want everybody that comes into our store to feel like a neighbor. And one of the ways that you behave like a neighbor or act like a neighbor is by helping out your neighbors. So we've made a commitment to give back, and we do that by tapping into 3 different areas. The first is children and youth. The second is food and nutrition. And the third is community and experiences. And that's really where this program came to life. Obviously, the funds go towards providing healthy, nutritious, local food to kids that need it. But there's also that experiential component of the food literacy activities that we'd love to see you do with your students to help to teach them to be, to have those skills in their life to make healthy food decisions. The last part of our community investment strategy is our donations program. So if you're ever holding a school fundraiser or anything and you need gift baskets or you need some sandwich platters, please feel free to reach out to us at Farm Boy. We're always happy to help. All right, next slide. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about why we developed Nourish to Flourish and really what our commitment is to it. And I'm not going to go ahead and read all these words on here because, most of you are teachers or work within the schools. So I'm going to assume that you can read. But I do want to read that last paragraph. In essence, Nourish to Flourish embodies Farm Boy's commitment to creating communities where every child has an opportunity to thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally. Because we believe that when you nourish our children, we empower them to flourish and in turn enrich the world around them. And now that we're a year into this program and we've seen a little bit from the first round of grant recipients, we really believe that this is coming true. And we're seeing some great initiatives in schools, and we're happy to continue to do this. And we're so excited to be part of this program. All right, Carolyn, back over to you.
Thanks so much, Aaron. All right, so now I'll share a little bit about the grants. So this year, there is a total of 161,000 to provide to 46 schools across Ontario, which is a huge increase from last year. I think it was about 45,000 last year. And that's a result of every year now, Farm Boy is doing a point of sale campaign to raise funds in the school, in the stores for this grant stream. And so last year, a huge amount was raised. And this year, the point of sale campaign is going to be starting next week on May 29th, going until June 15th to raise funds for the year after. So just a huge appreciation for the corporate and community contributions that are making this possible. So yeah, this round, 161,000, and that'll be made up of 16 grants of $1,000, 15 grants of $3,000, 10 grants of $5,000, and 5 grants of $10,000. All right. Schools need to select one of those amounts when you complete your application form, but you can also tick a box to say, yes, please consider me for a smaller amount. These are administered over one school year. So next school year from September to June, you'll be able to complete your work and then, yeah, directly to schools. And so in the next slide here showing that applications are open to all schools from kindergarten to grade 12 across Ontario. It includes schools in rural, remote, and urban settings. But we're not accepting applications from school boards or community organizations, so it has to be the schools. And we will also look to select a greater proportion of schools in urban regions, as well as to schools that serve a high proportion of low-income, racialized, or other equity-deserving communities. But we do encourage everybody to apply. Everyone will be considered. And last year, I mean, we can attest to there was quite a solid geographic distribution of grants. So yes, please apply. The eligible costs for all of the grants, a portion of the allotted funds must be used to support in-school meal programs. So that portion is laid out in our grant guidelines on our website. But for $1,000, $3,000, and $5,000 grants, that's a minimum of 50% of the grant that needs to be used to support in-school meal programs. So the majority of the grant for that purpose. And then for $10,000 grants, at least 75% of the grant needs to be used for the meal program. And so that can look like a range of things. Some of you may want to apply for kitchen equipment, some for equipment and material costs for growing, foraging, or harvesting food. But a tip would be to make as clear a link to the meal program as possible. Again, with that in-school meal program link. Minor costs for food service-based modifications, partnerships if you need something to help bring people together to do some planning or figure out how to make this work. And then some food costs, but there are some restrictions on the amount that can be used for food, and I will share that right here. So for the $1,000 grants and $3,000 grants, as well as the $5,000 grants, half of the amount can go towards food. 10,000 grants, maximum of 2,500 can be used to purchase food. And we ask that any food purchased should be as fresh, healthy, culturally appropriate, and as locally and sustainably sourced as possible. And we know not all of those boxes can be met, but just to really try to support as fresh and good food as possible. So the remaining funds on top of that for in-school meal programs, there will be some other funds that you can use to support different types of food literacy activities, including field trips to a market, farm, forest, or other place that supports the local food system, honoraria for food literacy activities, in-school guest speakers and workshops. And so that could look like a wide range of things. And I know many of you on the call, probably most of you, have some great ideas on what you might want to do with those funds. And note that they cannot be used for ongoing staff salaries or other paid positions or contracts. So one thing to consider is grant readiness, especially if you're looking to apply for some of the higher amounts. And so you want to consider, is there a desire and willingness to embed and strengthen the in-school meal programs, as well as those food literacy activities in the school community? Is the vice principal or principal supportive and willing to champion the initiative? And so we do want to make sure that there's that support higher up. Is there at least one engaged community partner? These folks can be local food providers, they can be knowledge keepers, can be even sometimes folks have partnered with senior centers for folks to provide support, master gardeners or parent volunteers. And then do the proposed activities reflect and celebrate the diversity of the student population? And will the activities delivered as part of the grant be open and accessible without stigma to all students who wish to participate regardless of means? And so we just want to make sure that it's available to all students at the school. We have a number of questions, including some that are only required of folks who apply for $5,000 or $10,000 to just ask for more information, including about your budget and work plan. And so there is a spreadsheet with two worksheets in it, one a budget, one a work plan, for those of you who do want to apply for $5,000 or $10,000. And so just make sure that you fill out both of those in the worksheet, and a link to that is available in the template that we share. The application process itself, and so if you go to sustainontario.com/nourish to flourish, and I will put that in the chat box right now. You'll find all the details and pieces here. So there's the grant guidelines, which explain a lot of what I've just put in these slides here. You'll be able to download a template in Word version so that you can just fill out your answers and prepare yourself for the form. And then
I'm on a meeting.
submission is using a form. And so I'm just going to mute folks. Is the online form itself. We've moved to a new platform called Cognito, and it allows people to, if you had applied last year, you would have found you weren't able to save your application. This year you are able to. It's not requiring a login. Some people have asked us, how do I develop an account or a login? And the answer is no, you can just take your answers and put it in and you can save it, and it emails you a link to go back in to edit your work. And so you can save, you can submit, and then say, oh, wait, I want to edit a few things. And as long as you've said, sent yourself a link to the form answers, then you can continue to work on it. Important dates, May 5th, the grant application opened. June 13th, the window closes. In late August, we will let people know. So we'll do our selection over the summer. And then everybody will have an answer by the time school starts. And then you're able to implement the grant processes. And at the end, share a story and complete the grant experience survey. Just a few notes. Our Farm to Cafeteria Canada's Farm to School Resource Center is available on the Farm to Cafeteria Canada website. You just go to the top here. You'll see there's the How We Work support we offer and the Resource Center. And so that has a lot of different pieces of information, including how to get started, how to plan for program sustainability, curriculum links, and all of that. And has a lot of different videos from educators and other great pieces. And that is that. I'm going to stop sharing and open it up for questions and answers. And so feel free to either raise your hand or to put your question in the chat box. And I see one question already, which is wonderful. So how long is the save available for, and is there a max amount it saves for? The save function, I'm pretty sure it just saves everything that you've written, and then it is available until the grant process ends, I believe. If that changes, if that's not the case, I can email everybody. I'll let everybody know. Actually, I'll just make a note to ask about that. But no, I'm pretty sure you can edit it up until the deadline for the grant, and then we'll close the process, and then we'll do our selection process. Just a minute. I'll go to Christine and then I'll go to the next question in the chat box. Christine, do you want to take yourself off mute and ask your question? Okay. I will go to the next question in the chat box here. You had an application saved, but the link isn't working anymore. Okay. If you can send me an email or that, I can look into it and send you the link. Is there a language preference, French or English? No, we have a full team of folks who can evaluate both languages, so whatever you're most comfortable with. We do also want to make sure that there are some French schools selected as well as some English schools, and so that diversity is wonderful. How detailed does the workbook need to be? It doesn't need to be like every single tiny item. We really just want to get a good broad picture of what you'd like to spend your funds on. And so whatever describes that would be really welcome. And in terms of the activities, yeah, it can be broad categories. We just really want to know, like, what are you going to do? And so, prepare garden beds. We're gonna seek volunteers and others to help prepare that. We're going to, purchase equipment or involve students in a field trip. And so if just the main pieces can be listed, that would be ideal. Go back to Christine, see if you can.
I apologize for that.
All right.
It was acting a little wonky on my end. I missed some of it because my class, I had to let them go, so I was on late. So here at our school, we do multiple things. We just opened this past year, so we do like a PALS program with life skills, and they do cooking and stuff like that, plus other food literacy. We do a night, an inclusion night, where we have people come in from different areas with that to taste different kinds of foods and stuff like that. So I guess my question is, and you might have already addressed it, so I forgive me.
No.
Is can it be spent on multiple things? Like, can it not just be spent on one thing? Like let's say we do 5 different things here. Could, depending on what the amount is, can it be used towards that?
Yeah, absolutely. However much you ask for, you'll say which of the different amounts you're asking for, and then that can be broken down into a wide range of different activities. The main things that we ask, I showed a few slides of, if you ask for $5,000, like half of that or more has to be spent on in-school meal programs, and the food can't make up like more than half the amount of that. If it's a $10,000 grant, I think food would only be able to make up about 2,500 of that. And so those are the only restrictions, but you can ask for funding for some pots and pans as well as some other equipment. Maybe if you want a dehydrator, maybe you want, some garden equipment and to bring somebody in to do a presentation or field trip or, so you can ask for a variety of things as long as it meets those main budget categories.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure if I had to like let you know, like because we do like a JK garden food to table type thing too. That has to be put down, the amount that we're going to use towards that.
Yeah, if you can just kind of clarify what,
Yeah.
the different amounts are for and that'd be great.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. You're welcome. Lori.
Hi there. Okay. We're sharing a space and I'm echoing.
Oh, you're okay. Can hear you well on our end at least. So.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm sharing a space with my principal because we both weren't in the meeting and then we are, and
Okay.
so I just wanted to, sorry about that. Just to clarify, because when we were looking at the application, I guess maybe I understood the amount backwards. If you're applying for, say, for example, the $10,000 grant, we we thought that it said a minimum of 75% had to be spent towards food.
I can go grab the slide right now.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And so there's kind of the two factors. There's the food and then the in-school meal programs. And so can everybody see?
Yes.
Great. So yeah, for the cost, a minimum of 75% needs to be used to support in-school meal programs. And so that can be a wide range of things. So that can be equipment, that can be that can include food, that can be growing equipment or space modifications. And then the food part, at least a maximum, of 2,500 can be used to purchase food for the $10,000.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for clarifying that.
Yeah, you're very
Thank
welcome.
you.
I know a few particular things to kind of pay attention to and yeah, it's going to be like everybody's kind of going to have to walk through their own scenarios and figure out like how that works. But yeah, thanks for bye. All right, I think a lot of folks have been asking questions in the chat. So does the school need to have a cafeteria? And if not, what are other good ways to support schools where there's no cafeteria? And the answer is no. We run into, we know, actually, when I went to visit schools in Quebec, I was amazed at how so many of the elementary schools have cafeterias. And the same is true, I believe, in Newfoundland and Labrador. And Ontario does not have standard cafeterias in elementary schools. And so we know that many food programs are run out of a closet or a staff room or other places. And so that, everyone's trying to make it work And there's a bunch of different ways. I mean, sometimes whatever the space is might need another sink, and that's a very small purchase, which might be totally within the budget that you want to ask for to make it a usable kitchen. Or there are, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways. There's mobile food carts that you can kind of move around different classrooms or have in spaces and actually have like little watering stations and stuff to create kitchens. And sometimes it's just a matter of buying a crock pot and a kettle and some other basic tools that help to make some of the food. So a lot just depends on what the setup is and what's needed in that. But yeah, happy to chat more if you want to brainstorm your specific circumstance. Can you clarify the amount that's to be spent on food? Janet, I hope I answered that one. Let me know if there's any more specifics that you'd like me to answer there. What would sweet potato slips count as seeds or food? Gary, can you share what the use of that is? I mean, if
Sorry, it's a weird question. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be like for a seed. Yeah, sweet potato slips are growing sweet potato shoots
Mhm.
out of a cut sweet potato in order to plant the shoots to grow sweet potatoes.
Mhm.
So they are, kind of a seed thing.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure, if we include that in the budget, that it, where does it go categorically?
Yep, that sounds appropriate for seeds if it's going to
Okay,
be
thanks.
used
Yeah.
for, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Next question. Our school started a healthy snack program this year. Would the grant be applicable for a snack program? Absolutely. By meals, it's just food served, and many schools, especially Ontario, one of the main model is a mid-afternoon or a mid-morning snack program, but a substantial one. And so, yes, a snack program would definitely be eligible as long as it's serving food to students, which it is. And so, yep, not a problem there. Can I share my email contact in the chat? Yes, I would just do that right now. Thanks, Katie, and I'll send you a link to your application soon. And if anybody else runs into that problem, just let us know where you need your form sent to you. Does this school have to be a part of the public or Catholic system? Are forest schools eligible? Any school is eligible, whether it's independent or private or public Catholic. We know that everybody has unique programs and needs, and that those needs exist across the board. So you are eligible, yes. Alana asked, how detailed does the workbook need to be? When you think of kind of reviewing a grant application, it's really just to give us a sense of what are you looking to do and where is the money going to be spent? And so sometimes from a reviewer's perspective, we can tell a lot from just those two pieces of, oh, these are the activities you're actually looking to do, because sometimes it can get lost in a paragraph form. And the budget, like this is where the money's actually going to go. And so if you're saying, we want to grow a lot of food and serve it up in the kitchen, and then your budget would, if your budget, for instance, had a lot of money to a guest speaker and some funding for, I don't know, a field trip, we'd kind of say, I don't know if that's actually what they're going to do. So the budget needs to match what your goal of your application is, and also have just explain clearly where the money will go. But it doesn't need to be detailed. Like you don't need to explain every single piece of kitchen equipment. If you'd like to get, some plates and cutlery and few pots and pans. Like you don't need to name the make and model of like all the details, just more kitchen equipment, including pots, pans, plates and cutlery, like is enough. So hopefully that helps. It's really just to give us a clear idea of what you want to do. Operational funds to hire people to offer workshops or facilitate programming, minimum or maximum. No, there isn't a minimum or maximum. Well, there is in the sense of the grant funds are not available for ongoing salaries. They can be used to provide someone an honorarium for a workshop, or come in, or support a farmer for a field trip, or that. And then in the guidelines we have the minimums and maximums for what needs to go to the in-school program, meal program, and what can be used for other costs. And so again, I'll share that. And so if you did want to offer some honoraria for people, like a cook to come in and do some work with your students or whatever, then it's probably more than next. Oh no. You know what? I'll go back to here. We would need at least kind of 50% of the grant, if not 75%, if it's a $10,000 grant, to go to the in-school meal program, and then the honoraria for demonstration training and all of that can come out of the remaining part of the grant. So that would be probably up to 50% for one of the smaller grants, or up to 2,500 for the $10,000 grant could be made up of those honorary, or yeah, bringing people on to do the workshops. How many schools applied for the grant last year? We had over 500 applications last year, which was incredible, and showed really a lot of interest in this. And we have about 185 applications started or completed in our system right now. With what is today? Today's the 18th or 19th or something. I could be way off. Oh yeah, it's 20 something. What's today? The 21st. So we have 3 or 4 weeks left of the process. I'm probably not doing math very well right now. We have a few weeks left, but we have, almost 200 applications. So many, and a difficult selection process. Kristen, you're a parent volunteer of the Healthy Snack Program. Who do you need to fill out the application? Anyone can fill it out. We ask in the form, like, who has filled out this form, and then we also ask for the principal's contact information just to make sure that they're on board. And we offer a space for a third contact just in case at different points, people, it's just good to have a lot of different contact points in there so that we know at least somebody receives the correspondence and can respond to it. So Kristen, you can fill out the application form from the school as long as the principal and others involved are supportive, and you would just name them and have their contact info. Great. Christine, is your hand still up? Do you have another question? Or is it still up from before?
No, I forgot to take it down. Sorry, been a day.
Great. No, I just wanted to make sure that if you did have another question, that you'd have a chance to ask it. Cool. And then how have we shared information about the grant with schools already? Did each school or school board get notified about the opportunity? We've circulated it through our list of dietitians, as well as through the student nutrition program providers, the Sustain Ontario newsletter, and then Farm to Cafeteria Canada has circulated it. We haven't shared it with each school board, and we don't have the names of all of the different schools. We do know that there's a huge amount of interest, just given the and that it is getting out there, given the information, the number of Zoom registrants and the number of people already filling it out. But yeah, we found it really hard in the past to reach all school boards and get things on their radar enough to send out. So, but if there are any questions or suggestions of who we should be sending it out to, please let us know. So that's it for the questions that I see. Are there any other questions that have come up that you'd like to ask, or that I didn't answer adequately or thoroughly enough? All right. I'll consider that answers Folks' questions have been answered for now, but please reach out to myself or my colleague Heather in the grant materials if you have any more questions that come up or if you have problems with the form. So just a huge thanks to all of you. Really great to have you here, and wishing you luck with your applications. And again, reach out if you have any questions. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for attending.